First of all, hello everyone. I'm JJ Martin, and I will be moderating a series of talks that Franca has curated for us. This is the first one for our Dubai Fashion Experience, and we're here today to talk about the new generation of fashion with Franca Sozzani, who needs no introduction. She has been editor-in-chief of Vogue Italia for over 25 years, making that all Italian language fashion magazine into an absolute global powerhouse that is one of, if not the most influential fashion magazine over the last 25 years. Not only that, but she's been at the forefront of fashion photography and really defining what that means and in today's landscape. And in addition to this, she has been extremely influential in the coddling and discovery of new talent. And that's really what we're here to talk about today, both her inroads with that and what she knows about what it means to be a next generation and new design talent. So Franca, why don't you start a little bit and just tell us a little bit about how Vogue got started in the young talents, number one, and number two, how that relates to what we're doing here in Dubai.
So we started 10 years ago with Uso Next, and we really had the idea not only to start with young designers, but really to support the evolution of young designers, because today there are a lot of awards for young designers. They got a beautiful prize, they go home, the mother is very happy, but at the end it doesn't happen anything. So my political way, it was completely different. My point of view, it's more to support them, to follow them in the way that they could really have a sustainable project. Because I think that today we cannot only to be a good designer if you are not even a good vision, if you don't have even a way to try to find how your business could become a business. Because most of the time when we talk with the young designers, some of them said, you know, I don't want to accept any compromise. I said, darling, accept compromise every single day. So keep it, go down, take care, do what you want, but if you don't accept compromise, it doesn't mean that you have to give up to your own style. You can really have your style, you have your ideas, but today it's more and more difficult. And if you wanted to have people who can invest on you, you have really to give something back. And this, what your side is creativity, but it's even how this creativity can become something successful. And it's the only one way to put together the industrial and the creativity. Because as you say in French, fashion is art appliqué. It means that it's not art, but it's something that art has to go in the street. So it means that people have to wear it. So we have to have a vision that is to be much more, let's say, dreamy, beautiful, amazing, but with something that could be in there. So our work is not only to discover young talent, but even to help them to grow up. And why we are here? Because I think that here is the most incredible hub of retailing in the world. You know, when Mr. Alabar came and asked me to come in Dubai, I was just thinking Dubai, yes, maybe, we'll see. And he told me, and this was 2 years ago, there are 65 million people, they cross the Dubai Mall. I said, it's very interesting, so we can make a deal.
Just a few.
We can make a deal. So that was really the good moment to understand that if you have creativity and at the same time you have somebody who's really doing such a big work in terms of retailing, what else we need? Industry in the middle.
So I think it's also interesting, you know, not only have you, this is the second edition, obviously, for the Vogue Dubai Fashion Experience, but, you know, you also have made inroads into Africa now with your new job as the ambassador to the UN. Tell us a little bit about these new markets now for the fashion industry, which has traditionally been focused in the fashion capitals that we know of, London, Paris, Milan, and New York.
Different things. When we talk about Africa, I started, I don't know why, honestly, I started. So I think that at a certain moment has happened something, I don't remember even what, for which I get involved in Africa for Fashion for Development for United Nations. And I thought that at the end, what was important is not only to go and to see if you have creative people, but how you can empower women, giving them back the dignity through a work. And so in the beginning, I was really fighting a lot to try to find somebody who could make a production over there. And now, after 5 years, I understand that I didn't waste my time. I think that I did a good job. But it's not that the point. The point is to create a local industrial project. Because if you get a young designer over there, and they can produce there, and they can have, after have an international distribution, this is the way that they can grow up. I mean, this was Italy after the war. Italy after the war was a disaster, you know, was nothing. And people was the mother, the father, the cousin, the niece, everybody of the family were working on the same project. And today, this project they can call, I don't know, Group Todd. You can call Max Mara. You can call any big name that you can imagine in the fashion world. And this is how they start. So, of course, the situation is different. Everything is different. And now Africa has a lot of problems. But Africa has not only problems. It's only even have in some places like Nigeria and Angola have even a lot of money. So they can even to invest themselves on their own country. And I mean, Africa is a continent, it's not a country, so it's a huge place. But I think that is a different approach of what we can do over there. And we brought a lot of African designers in Italy in the way that we put them in touch with the buyers, and the buyers have started to buy, and now they have a small market and they have to go on and they produce. And some of them, there are small laboratories of 12 people. Today they are, I don't know, 120 people. It means a lot. Doesn't mean that I will change the world, but it means that it's a small drop, and small drop is coming big story. And after that, I realized that going to Africa, that was not fashion was not the big issue, but was many other issues. There was water and food, and so I started to get involved with the World Food Program, and so we are doing other projects about that. But again, I always use fashion, and through fashion is such a media tool today that through fashion, more than through the cinema, more through anything else, you can really talk to everybody. Everybody knows about fashion. The good way, bad way, doesn't matter, but everybody knows. And so fashion is really the best media today, and so we wanted to use. How can we be here? And when they ask me if we'll be Dubai, another capital, a fashion capital, I think that we don't need another fashion capital. We have so many fashion capitals. We have a 36 fashion week, that if you double for 2, it means 72. We have a 52 weeks a year, so something's wrong. So we should really to find a way to make something easier. And this is how, that's why it's better to bring here as a young hub, where people, they can come and they show, and after they can have awareness and to go on.
So if we move to, obviously, some of, our more traditional fashion markets, Paris, Milan, New York, et cetera, if we're really talking about the landscape now of new and next generation designers, who are some of the stars in your mind who are really shaping that world and showing us who the next Armani will be, who the next Dolce & Gabbana will be?
We don't need another Armani. No, we need always young talents. We need young, let's say, new blood. That's what we need. But we need all of us. I mean, we need in the magazine, we need in fashion, we need everywhere. And when we go around, and you could be in Paris, in London, again, my point of view is that, of course, we need to have them, to have young talents, but we need even to support young talents, because only to show, to give them the possibility to be, let's say, another moment for the press is not enough. And so when you see, let's say, new talents, more or less 50 talents a year. Do you think that 50 talents can be successful of the 50 talents? It's impossible. So it's better to make a selection, because anyway it will come later, a normal, natural selection. And these people will be disappointed, will be deceived, will be frustrated. So we should not all the time, as a press, now I'm talking, to say this is the new Saint Laurent, this is the new. I've read that word so many times in the magazines, and I don't want to say, but it's a very bad, bad luck, because they all disappeared. So it's better to give them the time to grow up. The young people are like the seeds. You put the seed and it becomes a small tree and they grow up, and after they can have the success that they do deserve. But they needed to grow up.
So what are some of the keys to the success, do you think? You know, is it really about striking this balance between art and commerce?
But there's some people, they make success without being so creative. But it doesn't mean that they do not deserve success. They deserve because they had a very good point of view. They are very probably, I don't want to say commercial, but they know how to attract people, how to be wearable, how to be in the shop, how they could be people, they could like them. Let's say they are very easy. And there are even some big, very big designer that I think that are more marketing designer than designer in terms of creativity. The success can arrive in any kind of way. Sometimes you are unexpected because you find the right person with whom you can share your vision, and somebody who can take care of you as a creative person and can really make something really real. It's meant in the industrial way. Sometimes there are people that are really, really, really creative. But, and these people will become successful anyway, even without anyone. But even if I'm convinced that even the biggest example, if you keep, I don't know, Saint Laurent or Valentino, without a big, strong person behind them, probably will never be successful. So even to find the good partner.
And what about, why do you think it is that people discuss and talk about London as really the incubator for young talent today? Why is that?
Boring.
Wow, I kill you. No, it's okay. That's something that really drives me crazy.
And we want to know why.
Maybe.
Tell us.
No, do you know what? All the time, I think that it's our fault. It's Italian fault. It's not the fault of other people, of other countries that take advantage of what we do, but we are not good. We are not good in communication.
Yeah,
that must be the point, because when we talk about Nicholas Kirkwood, for instance, just without naming anyone, he started with us. He started in Rome. He had just only 2 or 3 shops around the world. He has he was having a small manufacturer, was producing his shoes, and now is Nicholas Kirkwood. He's been bought by LVMH, and he won the British Fashion Council award. Okay. Sorry, he started in Italy, and of course it's in English, and so he goes back to England. It's normal. It's normal. It's normal that you go back. If I will win an African guy, why he has to be in Italy? I don't want to be the first one who has chosen, but I don't care. We are always in the first row. We are always the first. It's not that the point. The point is that these people who start with us, they know that they start with us. And you know why they start with us? Because most of them, they are producing in Italy. And because the quality made them successful. And you know what the press says? That they do in Italy because Italy is an industrial place. So what's wrong? something doesn't work. Yeah. It means that we are not able to communicate that you could be the most creative person, but if the bad quality, you will never be a successful person. So thanks God that it exists made in Italy.
Yeah.
So thanks God that people like industrial people, like many manufacturers, because Nicholas Kilburn, I even remember, it was Pollini who got them the first one. I asked everybody, please, can you get him? He's such a good, talented guy. And after Pollini got him, and he became very successful. So this is just one of the one. A.W. Anderson started with in Milan in Palazzo Morando, and Simone Rochard. I mean, many of them, they're English. Why did you stay in Italy after? And so why after we could say, you know, the young are in Italy. First, excuse me, after 10 years, you are not anymore young. So we are not talking like that about young designers. So let's say that they were young when they started in Italy. And now they are very good designers in England.
Yeah. Do you think it's because production isn't sexy?
Because everybody wants to be creative. You know, everybody thinks that to be creative has to be the only way to be successful in life. And when you say, you know, this magazine sells this number of copies, wow, you're very good. But this brand has so many shops, yes, because it's commercial. So it's something, it's always the way that we wanted to see. For me, if you don't sell, you're not successful. This is my point of view. And of course, that it needs time. But it's too easy to say, you know, they don't understand me, people, they are not good in distribution, the industrial people, they do not want to understand. If they don't understand you, or you're not able to explain, or something's wrong with you, not with everybody else.
Yeah. What about today, when we're looking at some of the brands who've been rejuvenated by not necessarily young designers, but new, fresh blood? I'm thinking of Valentino, for example. Maria Grazia and Pier Paolo have done an incredible job at revamping a historical house. What do you think the success there, where does that success lie?
But you know, I think that there is a moment in which there is a normal evolution, and it's never nice aging, but there is a moment in which probably you need to give more room to young people, or not even young people, people that have another vision, you know, because, but I will say that there are two different ways. Sometimes, for example, what Pier Paolo, Maria Grazia Chiuri and Pier Paolo Piccoli did for Valentino, it's an amazing work, because they kept the DNA of Valentino, making in a today way. Sometimes some other one, they used the name, but they made their own style. So at a certain moment, the question is, why this is, for instance, big name, I don't want to name the one.
Come on, give us a name, come on.
Why have to be Balenciaga, for instance? Why have to be Balenciaga? Or because just Saint Laurent, for me, it's a Saint Laurent. When you go in the shop and you see Saint Laurent, and you go and you try Saint Laurent, as I'm a real vintage, and so I knew what was the real Saint Laurent, I can tell you that this is Saint Laurent, in a modern way, of course. That is not everything you can wear, but it's in a very modern way. But sometimes when you go to some other brand, it's very difficult to understand why this is to be. And so now, again, there are two different approaches. Some of the people, they say, you know, everything has to be renovated, and so why to go on in an old way? So it's good like that. Or some other one, they say, no, it's good to go there. So now it's a big discussion. I think that if you have a brand, and this brand gives you the dream of something that you have in your imagination, maybe you have to follow the brand. Probably the difference with Valentino, that Valentino is still alive. So in a way, it's a kind of respect to go on in his style. Balenciaga, young people, beside the ones who have studied in the schools, they don't even know who is Balenciaga or Dior, you know, so it's a different way to see.
Let's talk about Givenchy first for a moment, because that's a brand, Givenchy. Because that's a brand that immediately comes to mind when you talk about someone like Riccardo, who is doing things in such a radically different fashion than his predecessor, and having quite a great feedback, at least cultural, as a cultural phenomenon. Do you think that has to do a little bit with social media and the way that he's been able to so effectively communicate that way as well? Or what do you think that success is coming from?
Givenchy is a special case because Givenchy, when we talk about Givenchy, fashion of Givenchy, we all only remember Audrey Hepburn with the black dress. So what was behind that? I think that Givenchy did a style of his era. And I think that Riccardo is doing a style of his era again. Because there is not like in Chanel or in some special things that you can say, oh, okay, this is Chanel, it's recognizable, the fabrics, I don't know, the flowers, everything, it's very Chanel, the buttons, the chain, it's like... so I think that it's different story than Givenchy. Givenchy, I don't know, if you ask everybody here, even in fashion, what he did beside I don't want to say that he didn't do something good, he did something very good, but we always only remember one person wearing Givenchy. So it was not...
Welcome to the desert, Franca.
Yes, was nothing else. So I think that the interpretation that Riccardo did on Givenchy is not only to do Riccardo Tisci, but is to do the Givenchy of the era in which we are living. So I think it's a different attitude. And what he did, of course, through the media. He dressed the right person in the right moment, and there are all the tools that everybody can use. It's not that the tools that he has only Riccardo. Everybody has the same tools. Everybody is used to his own tools.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to see the way that designers are bending the rules. Adi Slimane is a perfect example. When he first started, people were shocked, were really shocked that he wasn't more more like deferring to the god house of Saint Laurent and really just taking things in a totally different direction. But again, there's someone who's had a big success. Did that surprise you with his approach there?
No, I really like, honestly, I really like, because I think that he did in a different way, in a modern way, what Saint Laurent did, to mix up everything. I mean, Saint Laurent did in the 70s, and when he did in the 60s, at the end of the 60s, the pret-à-porter, let's say, he did in the half of the 60s, the 70s, it was really to mix everything. And he was going around and taking the gypsy skirts and to put it with the dots shirt. So mixing everything. So I think that he's doing, and when I tell you, when you go in the shop, you realize that he's really doing Saint Laurent in a different way, but in a modern way.
What about Italy, in terms of the young generation there? Who are some names that are impressing you right now, that you really feel are making their mark right now?
But there are very few good ones, because we have seen yesterday, for example, for instance, we have seen Stella Jean. She's doing a very good job. Keeping, and that is a very good example, as I said, I said yesterday, about the fact that you can mix your culture with the today way to live. And they've been let's say, thinking all the people they are today, they are Aquilano Rimondi, they've been anyway quite successful. In the men, it's Andrea Incontri. We have the last one who won our contest, Piccioni and Piccioni, that is really doing very well, and it's really loved even from, very strange, from the foreign press. And who else?
You think of Marco Di Vincenzo.
Marco Di Vincenzo is doing a great job.
What do you like? What do you like about him?
But first, his way to use the fabrics. And I think it's really make an incredible research. And the fabrics, the embroideries, the way to work the fabrics. It's not even the fabrics that he used, the way to work the fabrics. So I think it's really doing a very, and it's quite mature in a way. You know, it's really when in his show, you see that it's a show who is ready. It's ready So it's been acquired by LVMH again. So I think that is doing very well. No, we have a few, but you know what? We need time. We cannot say in 2 seasons. Okay, in 2 seasons you are not anymore new, and you're not old, and so give him the time to grow up.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get your impression on this is just, you know, the speed with which everything needs to be done and the sheer quantity of collections that need to be produced. Do you feel that that is having an effect on creativity? This last fashion week, I mean, certainly there were good shows. I almost feel like there's a sense of monotony and like a lack of real buzz just because we're seeing so much fashion so often that...
No, we have seen too much in too short time, and more concentrated to look at each other, how we dress, how we sit, in which place, with whom, than to see the show. So when the show is over, okay, the show now is 7, 8, 10 minutes maximum. So if you're not concentrated, and instead to see the show, and you send the tweet, you send the Instagram, you put, so look at the show, give me a break, 1 second. Take the breath. Look at what they are doing. These people, the designers, they are working 6 months on these people. And you know, besides that, they have a huge responsibility because they're not only the creative people, they are the people for which they work thousands of people. So that this collection is good or bad, it means a lot to them, and it means a lot to all the entire manufacturer that they head off. So we really even to respect that. I mean, for me to see all the people looking all the time, the phone and sending Instagram during the show, 1 second. But even if you post after your neighbor, doesn't happen anything. We don't win anything.
I just wonder, is there an alternative? Is there a different way to, you know, do you think that the future is going to change now for the way we see these collections? And do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, I have a thought. I think that we should reduce the week in New York because it's too long for too few brands. To make longer the one in Milano, in the way that people can have time and to see.
Does this surprise anyone?
And to do 6 days in Paris, it would be good, not 8. So I think it's very simple. For me, it's very simple.
I mean, it is a bit strange that there's such a lopsided number of days.
Again, we are not good in communication. That's it. We should learn.
I feel like this can happen, Franca. We can make it happen. We
We
need to
can
improve.
make it
We
happen.
need to improve the
We can make it
communication.
happen.
What about, you know, I'm curious about what you think of brand-sponsored initiatives for young talent. You've got people like Dolce & Gabbana who are supporting some young brands with their shops in Milan.
It's closed.
Sorry?
It's not anymore, it's closed.
Oh, it closed.
Yes.
So that was not very successful.
No, it's not.
The one in Viale Piave closed as well?
What?
The one in Viale Piave closed
Viale
as well?
Piave, I don't know, but the one in
Della Spiga.
Della Spiga is closed. What? It's open. Yeah, it's open. No, I think you know what. No, but you know what? Yes, the designer they should support, but for me more than the designers are already busy in their own line. We need the industrial, the manufacturer, the people. These people they should support the young because. Why to ask to a designer who already has thousands of problems just for himself to take care even of another who is young? Of course, he can do, but I think it's more the entrepreneur. It's more it's more even a political situation. You know, it's like even I don't want to say, but even the city, the people, the people that are in. Developing area, like for the young, give them the support, give them. So we need more that, you know. We're not because we always go to ask money to the designers. The designers that are already thousands of things to do, and let them to do what they do, and it's already the good way to do. For me, it's more on the other side. The people who produce, the people who make the distribution. These people, they should be more engaged.
So the initiative that LVMH had this year with their fashion award that was given to Thomas Tate, you think that's a good initiative for a group like that? Or are you speaking more about a manufacturer in Italy, for example, to partner up with young designers?
No, I think that if you're talking about VMH, like we're talking about the caring group that is doing more or less the same, we are, I think it's very important because they are big groups and they need themselves for their own brands to have a recharge all the time of new talents. So they need even to scout new talents. So I think it's a very good approach. And, but this is a group. It's not like a designer. So even we have other groups, for instance, that they do in Italy, because we have Renzo Rosso is doing, AF is doing. So it's not, but they have how many, in the groups of VMH and caring, how many brands they have? 1,000, I mean not 1,000, but they have 10. So even more. So they need more in a way, and even more possibility to take them to support them for internship, or to give them the possibility to produce, or to go inside like they do with a young designer, like 20%, 15%, and to see how is the evolution. But otherwise, it's really the production. I think it's in near.
Is it hard finding new talent now, just to even consider for your initiatives? How are the schools doing in terms of producing the kind of young talent that is worthwhile?
But the school is a very good moment in which you can learn fashion, I mean, of the past. But if you're not gifted, you don't learn how to become a genius. So what you need to be supported by the school are how to be technical, how to know the story, how to don't make the interpretation or don't make the copy, or just to give suggestions, but technically. Not to be a creative person is a gift. It's like you are a singer or an actor. I mean, it's a gift. It's a gift. And when somebody is gifted, you have to support them. But the school can only give you the tools to use your gift, but cannot give you the gift.
So what do you see then for the next 5 years, 10 years? Is there anything that you're hoping to see with young talent that you would like to see change in the fashion industry? What's our outlook?
But what I see, honestly, I don't see so far, because I think that it's already difficult to see what will happen in the next year. But I think that all of us, that we have had the chance and the possibility to make a beautiful life with doing something that we really love, to give to some other people the same chance. That doesn't mean that they deserve, because most of the time they do not, because they don't want to work, so they have to work. They have even to learn that it's a hard work, that you have to you have a lot of responsibility, you have to take risk, you have to sacrifice yourself, and when maybe somebody else is going out to dance, you go on working. So they even to understand that it's not that easy. And so it's better that they know before than during that they grown up. So what I see, it's like to support them, that more and more people will support them. I'm sure about that, because we are all committed with the new generation. There is yesterday night when I was talking with Susan, she was saying, it's a huge gap between the big that we have at the moment, like, I don't know, Valentino, Karl Lagerfeld, now we were talking about Oscar. They're all in their 80s. And after we have 20 years with no one in the middle, and we arrive between 50 and 60, and after there is another gap, and it's between 25 and 35. So we need to be more sustainable in the research of new generation.
Thank you very much. We'd like to open up the floor now to any questions to Franca Sozzani.
I've been so clear.
In the corner. In the corner. There you go.
Hi. Thank you both for such an insightful discussion. My name is Shahid, and I'm a co-founder of Just, which is a company that's trying to leverage technology to bring transparency and ethics to fashion supply chains. Franca, I know you've been a huge champion of sustainability in fashion and ethical fashion in general, and I'm really curious to hear your thoughts of What is it really going to take for the industry to change its practices? And what can we do from early on to infuse some of this sustainability and ethics thinking into new talent?
It's very tough question because the sustainability in fashion is not something that is not easy to. There are different kinds of sustainability, by the way, because when we talk this kind of arguments, it's a long way, because we're talking about sustainability in terms of how the young could go on in their own way, or sustainability in terms of how could change the fashion world in terms of ecological and sustainable in this way, because it's two different kinds. Because sometimes we use sustainability for everything, and it's a different story. So it could be a sustainable project, and this could be ecological sustainable process. So if you are talking about ecological sustainable project, I think that we really need. I think we are doing a big change, and people, and especially young people, they're more and more motivated about that. And I think that this is because I don't know if you read, but the United Nations has given the formal announcement that the climate change has arrived at a point in which we cannot go back. So now we have to learn to defend ourselves, not how to change the climate. The climate will not change anymore. What we did wrong will stay forever. So now we are trying to defend ourselves and not to empower more this change. So this is a kind of a responsibility that all of us we have. But this is a process that started a few years ago and not for everybody. And I think it will take still a long time because most of the people are not ready. If you're talking in terms of a sustainable project for young people, I think that we all need to give them the support in terms of that the industrial part, distribution side, retailer, and even the press. And so we have to make them and to help them to grow up. So I don't know which kind of sustainable way. I hope that I was clear.
Hi, thank you so much for an amazing discussion. It was very knowledgeable. I want to ask Franca that where is the honest fashion critique? With the pressures of advertising faced by all the fashion magazines, where is the honest fashion writing?
Susie Menkes, she's a very honest person, and even today that she's writing for Vogue, for all the Vogue, and on her blog, sometimes she's she's so tough with some of the designers that after all of us, we have many problems with them because she really is honest in what she says. I think that a lot of people are very honest. I see sometimes some very good review on Business of Fashion. I see many magazines, many newspapers. More in the newspaper, of course, than in the magazine. In the magazine today, you don't have anymore any critics about the show because after a monthly magazine, it takes 2 months to be out, and so you already read everywhere. The bloggers, it depends. Some of them, they are not been too much, let's say, sponsored by the designers, so they can be more honest. Some are very sponsorship, so they are less honest. It depends how is the deal, the deal with the designers. But most of the, not most, but a lot of newspaper, I think, are very honest. Yes?
Hello. Last year here you were saying that you sort of invented Instagram before Instagram appeared in terms of making people think about something due to images that you produce at Vogue. And but recently people start talking that with Instagram and everything about a photograph, there is less opinion and opinion makers. So what do you think? Can a photo really be more opinion making than, let's say, a Susie's article?
Do you know what I think honestly about Instagram? That Instagram started in a very good way, and I think that is very good if you, as everything, if you use in the right way, and you can give the possibility to people to be connected. But after, I think in the last 2 years, Instagram went too far, and I've seen that we have seen the feet of everybody, we have seen the dogs of everybody, we have seen the makeup of everybody. So I just wonder, people feel so alone that they need to send when they walk and when they're with dog with the other people, or is the only way to be connected with the other people? If this is the answer, I think it's very sad.
Hi, Franca. I was wondering, what is your opinion on aspiring designers starting a brand straight after their studies?
My opinion?
What is your opinion on designers starting their label straight after education? Are they trying to fast track too quickly?
But you know, my opinion is that it depends how much creative and how much lucky you are. You know, you must be very creative, and if you are very creative and you are very lucky that you meet somebody who really supports you, and really, why not? Why not? There is no moment. There is not in fashion. There are no rules. I mean, everybody can do what they want. It depends how much you can, how much you are able to do, how much you are. You're gifted, and so but even how much you find how lucky you are to find immediately somebody who can put funds on your project, unless that you are from a good, very rich family.
Hi. My question is going back to what we were talking about Instagram earlier. Back in the day, one had to wait about 6 months to see an actual fashion collection. Now we almost see it before the show because people are putting backstage pictures. I want to ask if overexposure is having an adverse commercial effect on the lines, because we've seen everything before, everything's out there. Nothing seems new. Is overexposure of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter accounts is a good thing? Is it still working? Is it still the ongoing trend, or is it actually having a downturn, poor effect?
But you know what? I think that today, even if they were not Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, or doesn't matter, it's you can see online the show after 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. Yes. Yeah. So immediately, I mean, sometimes even after 10 minutes. But in a good, let's say, in a good website, it takes very. So you can see the sometimes it's even in streaming. So you can even see immediately. So no, I don't think it's a problem anymore, because today the problem could be the copy, but they copy anyway, you know. And they are, even if they have the show online after 6 hours, 8 hours, anyway, they already have somebody inside to already seen. So I don't think it's a problem. No, I don't think it's anymore a problem, because it's too easy today to copy, and it's too fast, and they know that will be like that. And anyway, even when you go to see, sometimes in the big distribution, you can find very similar clothes immediately, and sometimes even the same prints. It's a problem. Yes, it's a problem if you wanted to. It depends. Again, you wanted to. There are people who cannot afford, you know, the big brands. So they wanted to have. It's not correct. That is a different story. It's not correct. It's not fair. But I don't think that when you sell a dress at $11, it's fair. Somebody behind this dress doesn't earn money.
Salve Franca. Just a question. I want to know your opinion about the rising of fashion blogger as celebrity in the fashion business. What do you think about that?
I wrote a blog that made me very, very unpopular about the blogger because I said that most of the bloggers, I mean, everybody today is a blogger. I'm a blogger, honestly. So everybody's a blogger. But most of the bloggers, they don't know what you're talking about. And when I wrote, I said that I'm not against the blogger. I think that would be a natural selection of the bloggers. Because we cannot have thousands of bloggers. Some of them, they really don't know anything about fashion. They write everything that they want, and there is no sense, you know. So it's good when you know what you are doing. You know, you have to be reliable, at least a little bit. What was the second question?
Was there a second part of the question?
Was the second part of the was the blogger and the rest?
Yeah, if it's going to be a phenomenon that will slow down and completely maybe die one day, or it's going to grow up more and more and more, in your opinion? Because
the blogger, but you know, to open a blog is the easiest thing in the world. To keep a blog is the most difficult thing. So they can open thousands of blogs, but the name that we know today, when we talk about reliable bloggers, could be probably in the world, probably 30, no more. So it depends which kind of blogger you want to be.
thank you.
Hi, Franca, and you are good in communication. You are here in Dubai, and thank that you listen for Mr. Abbar, so you are good in communication. You can do communication with us. My question to you about, I'm quoting from your words that media is a tool for fashion. So I would like to know, what is your opinion about the Arab media, how they write fashion here, and did you have the chance to disagree or agree in the way that they are taking forward the fashion? Thank you.
How do they write? I don't know. I don't read. I don't read. Not with no, nothing. No, because we don't hear so well.
Yeah,
from
it's
here.
hard to
That's
hear.
why.
Sorry, it's hard to
Because
hear a
an
little bit.
echo.
Okay. I'm saying that today we came here to talk about the designers in fashion. So also about media, the people who write for fashion in media in Arab world. Did you have the chance to read or to see how the way that you are doing the work here? If it's supporting or also it's like the blogger things, people they write without they know, or how you feel it? How did you see it?
No, I understand. No, yes, of course, I follow some even of the blogger, and I follow some from the press. Yes. No, from the press, I really follow. But do you know what? Sometimes it's very difficult because sometimes we have a different point of view. Because when, I don't know what I was reading a few days ago about, was another country, they were really were really making successful a brand that was not that successful because only was a local brand, you know. So for me it's interesting to read everything, but my opinion is that these people, they need an international exposure. Otherwise, if locally exposed, local press, it's not that doesn't mean anything. It's good for the local, but it's not enough for them to have an exposure in other countries. So they need to have more exposure.
Last question for Franca.
Hi, Franca. Hi, my question, I run a socially conscious women's wear brand in Pakistan that supports rural entrepreneurship. And my question is about, you were saying about finding new talent and honing their skills. How far do collaborations go in forwarding that process?
how far do collaborations go in what process?
In honing new talent and finding new talent, like you were, she was talking about.
Okay, it depends. We have a different kind of attitude. It means that, for instance, when we support a talent, that could be from any country, it could be from Africa, from Indonesia, doesn't matter from where, we try to bring in Milano and to give them exposure in Milano. And we did for many, lately, Arab, Australian, Indonesia, African designers, in the way that they can really be approached by retailers and by the press. We need, some of these people, they are constantly in touch with us in the way that we can really support them, what they need, in the way, not only about exposure, but sometimes they really need support in terms of where to produce, how to make distribution. So really, it's a long process, but we have really to make a very tough choice because, of course, as you can imagine, we cannot do for everybody. So we have really to be very selective, and sometimes it's very difficult to choose because you feel responsible for the other that you're not choosing. That's it.
I want to thank Franca for her time today and for all of you for coming.